Your smartphone is making you stupider. I know you don't want to hear that, okay? I know you don't want to hear that, but this is true. Stay with me now. This is true. And I've talked about this a lot in the Daily Dose, guys. I've done a lot of different Daily Doses with regards to communication etiquette and all these kind of things. Look, let's face it, smartphones are changing the society that we live in a dramatic way, and sometimes not for the best. But today, I'm not even talking about the tendency for people to walk around with their faces buried in their phones, right? Not even make eye contact with others. I'm not talking about the tendency for people to just interrupt a human interaction to find out what's going on their phone. I'm not talking about the tendency for people to sit at parties and literally not make eye contact with anyone and just scroll Facebook all night. These things are detrimental to human relationships, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. I'm talking about your smartphone could be, and probably is, impeding your ability to do your best work. Because here's what happens. As humans now, we are increasing, I forget what the statistic is, it's something truly obnoxious. Like the average American checks their smartphone, I think it's like 160 times a day or something. I mean, it's really outrageous, the number. And that could be totally off, but it's a big number. It's a startling number, okay? I didn't bother to look it up before we did this, but even if it's 40 times a day or 25 times a day, guys, that's a lot. Now, here's what happens, though. People think that it's no big deal. I'm in the middle of doing something. I'm writing an email. I'm answering a boss. I'm doing some math, whatever. And I get a diddle-link on my phone, and I just reach over and go, oh, yeah, it's Susie. Hey, you coming out tonight? Yeah, I'll be there. I'll show up about 5:30. Put the phone down. Diddle-link. She says, oh, okay, I'll see you there. Okay, talk to you later. Bye. And it's brainless, it's mindless. We do it all day, right? But here's the problem. We don't have the ability to multitask as humans. I know some of you are going to go, what are you talking about? Of course. Look, when it comes to the most basic things, like habitual things that require no conscious thought whatsoever, like brushing your teeth or walking, yes, you can have a conversation while you walk. Right? Yes, you can chew gum while writing a letter. Okay? Those things like chewing gum and walking don't require conscious effort. But working on a project on the computer requires conscious effort. Reading an email and comprehending it and responding to it requires a conscious effort. We don't have the capacity as human beings to do two simultaneous conscious things at once. In other words, one of them has to be subconscious. So we don't really multitask, we switch. Okay, here is a perfect example, an illustration for you. Have you ever been in a conversation with someone? You're having a conversation and your phone, right? And you go, oh, I have a text. And you don't say that. You just you're listening to them, and you just look down and you pull up the text and you read it. And then you go, and you didn't hear a word they said during the 7 or 8 seconds or whatever it was that you were going through your smartphone. You didn't hear a word because your brain can't do both at the same time. Okay? So we don't multitask, guys. We switch. And this is fact now. But here's the bad part. When you're switching now, two things are happening. Number one is the brain likes to get into a rhythm or a train of thought. Right? And every time you interrupt that, it takes a period of time for the brain to get back into that rhythm and become its most efficient and effective in that train of thought. It takes a few minutes. Well, if you're being interrupted and you're switching inside of that time that it takes for your brain to get on track, your brain never gets on track. You never get the right rhythm going. You never get enough focus going to be doing your very best work. Here's the other thing that happens. It's called residual attention. When you switch to something, your brain is still kind of processing what you were doing a second ago. So now, not only are you not doing that thing as well, but you're not doing the new thing you're doing as well as you could be doing it either, because you're trying to split your attention between two different things. And it makes you inefficient and ineffectual at both. And studies have shown, like, for example, kids that do their homework with the TV on in the background, even though it's just in the background, will take 25% longer to complete the task, and they'll have 30% more inaccuracies in their answers. Why? Because every once in a while, they glance up to see what's going on the TV. And even if it's every once in a while, it has an effect. So every time we stop doing what we're doing to pick up and find out what Susie wants, We're damaging our own ability to do our very best work. So it's not really your fault if you didn't know these things. But now that you know, so here's what we can do about it. Here's what you and I can do. Set aside time when you're going to work on a project. Say, like, I'm going to give this thing the next 30 minutes and power down the smart. Right? Shut down the Mac mail, power down the smartphone, and focus. What's crazy is you'll find that you get more done in 30 minutes or 40 minutes than you were getting done in 2 hours before, when you were trying to do a little bit while answering this text message, while answering that email, while grabbing the phone real quick, and then having the conversation with the coworker as they're passing by, right? All of those things are slowing you down. Smartphones are great things, guys. They bring a lot of convenience to our lives and help us get a lot of things done. But they're crushing our productivity because we fooled ourselves into thinking that we can live our lives with one eye on the task and one eye on that screen. And you can't, at least not effectively. But now you know. And that's the dose. See you guys.